Let's do it. Let's do it with Karl.
It's showtime.
Oh, boy. It's been an eventful 24 hours for Karl Hamburger. But before we get to our huge announcement, Karl, I believe Karl's been served.
What?
Yes, that is true. I did get served today, maybe, potentially, a person who claims to be Senator John's attorney.
Oh, jeez.
Violation of New York State publicity law and damages.
Wow, how much do you owe him?
So it's hard to tell because it says $300,000 in one place and then it says $300,000 in another place. I don't know if it's $600,000 total or if it's just $300,000, but it's also both Shuley and me getting served.
Oh, okay.
We're splitting the $300,000 or $600,000. Oh, I have a lot of questions.
Now, how much is money that you made off Stuttering John versus damages? Does he come up with that?
Yeah, they say that he thinks that we've made $300,000 off of his name, but there's
made
also
more than that.
He's also seeking damages of $300,000. So I think that that's just like punitive.
Have you put together a dream team yet?
I am not. I think I'm going to go on Shuley's show tonight, and we'll be talking about it. I'm interested to see what their thoughts are. But it all stems from what they refer to as a Rochester event because it's New York State law, so they have to tie it to New York State somehow. And we did DabbleCon 1 and DabbleCon 2 at the local comedy club here in Rochester. So I don't know which event they're talking about, but then there's a follow-on event, is what they call it, in Florida in April of 2025. That was Dabble House.
Yes.
So it sounds like they're just looking for things that made money, and they're just suing us over that.
Oh, I think it'd be fun to hear judges and lawyers talking about DabbleCon and Dabble House and Hackamania.
I would love to see it open for discovery. You can take a look at anything that John has.
Yes, I would love the discovery phase, but I agree with you, Drew. If this went to the courtroom, you know how much fun that would be?
Hilarious.
It'd be pretty wild.
Yes, it'd be amazing.
It'd probably be worth the price of lawyers. Maybe we could super chat the lawyers.
No, it is possible that someone made this up and they used bogus letterhead and they mailed this via FedEx and John has nothing to do with it. Like, who knows? It's the Dabbleverse.
Did John, he's threatened to sue so many times I can't keep track. Has he threatened to sue for these things? Seems like he has, hasn't he?
He has, and actually Vince the lawyer, who I used to be on a text thread with, has talked a lot about how John should sue us for these things. And he stopped texting with that text thread because he goes, you guys have to understand now with what's happening here, I have to pull myself out of this. We can't communicate directly anymore.
Well, that's pretty heavy. Do you think he's on John's team?
Well, he says that he's not, but I assume he's an advisor. I assume that he was the one who planted this in John's ear that you should definitely sue these guys for this violation of New York State publicity law.
Has Vince the lawyer always had John's best interest at heart?
Actually, it's funny you say that, Drew. No, not even close. But he buys John's favor, and so they have a very weird back and forth relationship.
Yeah, it was very funny, actually. I remember didn't Vince, did he fly John to Atlantic City, but then he flew him through 2 other cities, in the middle of the night?
Yeah, great memory. So John went to Atlantic City for this meetup thing they were doing around the Super Bowl, and Vince paid for John's hotel room and his flights, and he hooked him up, but he made John fly through 3 airports, and 2 of them were right next to each other, and they were connecting in Florida for some reason. He was flying from L.A.
Wow.
And then he put him up in the hotel room, but he also stole John's pants and took photos of him in the bathroom and stuff.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't room John with someone.
Yeah, well, they were all hanging out together and live streaming from the hotel room that weekend.
Wow, I'm sure you guys will be very careful talking about this on Shuley's show tonight.
As you can tell, I'm being very careful about it now, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very concerned.
Well, there's also a big announcement. If you saw Karl on Normal World, you already know about it, but I don't know if many people in Detroit know about this if you didn't watch, because we haven't talked about it.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it, and you don't know this yet, Drew.
What?
Tickets just went up on sale 30 minutes ago. You can buy tickets at the Magic Bag on their website, themagicbag.com, September 12th. We will be live for the 4th year in a row, and this year we're featuring Dave Landau.
Yes, that's awesome.
very excited about this. So obviously the whole Drew Lane Show crew will be there. The whole Who Are These Podcast crew will be there, and Dave will be there as well.
And I think the show's gotten better every year, and I think it will get better again because all 3 years I have watched you on stage and thought, oh my God, how does Karl stay on stage straight through for 2.5 hours? It must be exhausting, and it is exhausting. But now we've got Dave Landau to break it up.
Yes. Yeah. So Dave will be probably doing some stand-up. He'll also be hanging with us on the panel as we go through show reviews. So it's going to be great. I had a blast with those guys out in Dallas doing Normal World and Alex Stein show.
Does this mean that Ted Williams has been bumped?
Possibly.
Yes.
What?
Talks have not been really
Racists.
not really started yet.
By the way, for those people that are in the back,
No, we love Ted,
How could you bump Ted?
but I don't know how much if Ted could eat up 20 minutes in the middle. Actually, Ted probably could eat up 20 minutes in the middle. I don't know if we want Ted to eat up 20 minutes in the middle. But
He had some good jokes the first year he came on, but we didn't really utilize him as well the second time he came.
Yeah,
That's
well-
not me, by the way. That's my
Well, that's
fault.
not. Yeah, that's not Ted's fault.
we'll, have to
I know.
we'll take the rap for that. But no, this will be a great show. And as for today's show, I'm not sure where you want to start because I know there's something was found deep in the Stuttering John vaults that has not been made public. I guess Giles Martin was brought in to work on restoring the audio, kind of like he did for the Beatles Now and Then. And this thing has been put together. Are there actual clips of John that would have never been heard before?
I didn't bring any Stuttering John clips. Yesterday on Point Dabble Point, we talked about a show from 2022 where John had his guest on, and they were talking about how John was taking down my Patreon at that time.
Oh, that's
and he
right.
said that I posted his entire audiobook. He goes, yeah, the MP3 of my audiobook's up on there on my Patreon. I own the copyright. So I struck that and got Patreon to take that down. And his guest goes, wait, so we just put your entire book up without him analyzing it or talking about it or anything? And I goes, well, no, they did. They just played clips and analyzed it, which he's been lying about that ever since for the last 3 years. He's been saying that we posted his entire book and it was a copyright violation. But we found a clip from many years ago where he admitted that that's not the case. I never did that.
Wow. Well, I know you were looking at a couple of the shows. Which show do you want to start with?
Do you want to start with Dave and Chuck the Freak?
Sure.
Because what these guys do is obviously a morning show every morning. They're in Detroit, Boston, Tampa, Fort Myers, Saginaw, Columbia, South Carolina, and Las Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know there were that many markets.
Yeah, and they're also on YouTube.
Yes,
And
they're
they-
live on YouTube. They're catching us now.
Uh-oh.
They
We
have
spent
20
2 years trying to catch them. We caught them, passed them by 2,000 YouTube subscribers, and now they're catching us.
Well, they're at 23.7 thousand subs.
And we're 24.3, I think. So it's getting
boy.
close. We may have to go live.
So I decided to check out this morning's episode. It's up to 3,500 views. So people are watching along live, which is interesting. And the way that the show started off, and I got to imagine you guys don't miss this. They really have to stretch the time as much as possible because they're just filling 4 hours a day and trying to figure out what to talk about. And it starts with this small talk that I swear to God, if this happened to me by the water cooler at work, I would walk away. But these guys do not do that. They stretched out into like almost a segment, my clip number one.
All right. So how you doing here on this Tuesday? It is the 3rd day of June.
Good.
Is it only Tuesday?
It's only Tuesday.
Man,
Yep.
I really thought it was Friday.
What?
Really? Friday? I just feel like it's Friday.
That's a lie.
Wow.
Like it should
You
be.
are terrible.
That's
a
sorely
long week.
mistaken.
No, I got a long way to go, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. I can see Wednesday maybe. But Friday, dude.
He's like, yeah, weekend. Wait a
2 day
second.
Oh my
It's
God.
Tuesday.
Man, honestly, like being off by one day is a tragedy. Like feeling like it's Wednesday when it's really Tuesday.
Right. Being off by 3 days.
Oh, no. I woke up like,
Yeah, it's Friday.
Oh, So sad. How did you on even let yourself Tuesday. do
I
that?
don't know.
Oh,
Stayed up too late, didn't get enough sleep.
yeah, that's it. You started getting delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delusions.
Get that wonky brain going.
Yeah, it
Oh, it's
happens.
wonky. It's as
Yeah.
wonky as it gets.
I believe that didn't happen.
I thought it was Friday today. Can you believe that? That's dumb.
Well, it could fill 3 minutes, though.
Let's stop talking about that right now. So that's Jason Watson, one of their producers, who is just like, it's only Tuesday. I mean, this is the most boring thing you could talk about on the show.
Yeah, what day it
Day of the week
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Carl, I didn't watch a ton of their show, but I watched enough because I knew you were watching it. And I wanted to check a little bit of what they're doing today. It really feels like they're just filling time, doesn't it?
Yes. And so that's the first hour, obviously. That's when the show starts. In the second hour, they come back from break. My clip number 6 here, Mark. And they bring up again that Jason thought it was Friday.
Oh, my God.
Shitting me.
Well, it's news. Big
It's news.
Every quarter hour.
All right, hi there. We're here with you on this Tuesday edition of Dave and Chuck the Freak, the 3rd of June, even though Jason thinks it's Friday, bitches. It is not.
Oh my God.
Don't remind me.
It is Tuesday.
Just got over it. So long. So long.
Oh my
The
God.
worst. The worst ever. Oh. When you believe you're ready to head into a weekend and you've got many more days of
It
work.
just was the weekend.
Yeah, literally.
It just was.
I know, but the weekend was so busy.
Oh yeah.
You know,
You don't have a real
just the last couple
weekend.
days.
Yeah.
No, I don't have weekends.
No.
I did a better job with it the first time. And that wasn't very good.
Wow.
I do a bad job of helping people through their workday. I don't think about that. I'm not sitting there going, hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having a fantastic hump day. We're halfway through the week, everyone. I can't wait for this weekend. It's coming up soon, right?
Waste of time.
You know, when I was thinking about, how this felt like filler, because, a good show, you get rolling on something dumb in the news, a caller, it could be anything. And it's just very natural progression. It gets funnier and funnier, and somebody else checks in. And, it could just really rock away an hour. There's so much filler in that show. And I kept noticing Dave doing the weather. And I thought, why is radio still doing the weather? Radio does not need to do the weather every 20 minutes.
What
does
if
it?
you don't have a smartphone? How are you going to know what the weather is?
Who doesn't
Well,
have a
it's sunny
smartphone?
That's
today,
my
but
point.
it's also a little bit hazy. We got a high of 83. It's going to be 72 degrees tonight.
But what's it going to be on Friday? Because I thought today was Friday.
That's a good question.
Doesn't seem like radio morning shows could drop the weather. Do they really need
Yeah,
to do
most
that?
of them do. Unless they're sponsored. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. Because if
yeah.
they're sponsored, they'll do it.
Oh, then you can't stop ever.
They did have a sponsor for the weather on this show.
Well, there you
That's
go.
true.
Yeah, that's why.
And also, what's Lisa Way going to do? She's not talking about weather and traffic.
Does radio really need to do traffic? You got
It's
GPS.
sponsored.
Yeah, it's sponsored.
Although most stations have to pay, like Metro Traffic,
Yeah.
or an outside agency to get the traffic.
All right. So as you were talking about, Drew, like sometimes like a conversation will come up organically and you start riffing on it and you start having fun with that. So they're looking at this story out of Boston where a woman was going into labor and she's stuck in traffic. And they called 911 and troopers come to the rescue and they escort her to the hospital. And she's able to give birth to her child at the hospital. And so there's a news piece about this. They watch this. And after they get done watching it, I swear, Chuck starts the most boring anecdote. I think he regrets it, but he decides to go with it anyway.
Is it about
And
afterbirth?
It's worse than that.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Dave is so there for him. Like, Dave is such a good partner. He really sells it.
We're really lucky. In Winchester, Julie McDonald, WBZ News.
Oh,
He's
this.
with a full head of hair.
Holy cow.
So much hair.
I know. Was that his brother right there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
they
brother's
have good
got.
hair.
Yeah. Every once in a while, as a dad, you take a photo and you're like, geez, what am I doing in that photo? Like, I took one on our vacation where I had my arm up a little bit. And then when the photo came back, I looked quite effeminate. I was
Where
kind
did
of
we get
like,
here? What are we talking about?
feminine pose. I was kind of like, Stella was here, and I kind of like put my arm like that, and then the way that this stranger took the photo of me and her, when it came back, I was like, whoa, I can never put that one out.
Like a hand, like when you're all sassy with it?
I looked a little sassy with it. I looked a bit sassy, I would say. A
Sassy.
little sad, like a little,
Sassy dad.
just a gay dad here with his daughter.
I love that story.
You got to share an anecdote like that, don't you?
Oh my God.
I'm a little disappointed. You know, Brad Dodd never helps me out with laughter like that. I mean, he hits the drop, obviously, which
That
is great.
laugh.
But
I will next time.
I never see him lose his mind over some mundane thing that I said.
And there was another
Very
part where
disappointing.
you can't hear Dave laughing if you're listening to this, but Dave is like,
Yeah.
It's like it won't come out, he's
losing
laughing.
his mind. He almost falls over backwards.
yeah.
He's the easiest laugh. By the way, I have the same shirt as Chuck, and I don't ever want to wear it again.
What's he wearing?
He's got a Michigan shirt on, and I have that exact same shirt. I'm never wearing it again. But also, look at that shot right there. Look at all that prep he doesn't have in front of him.
That's kind of amazing.
He's got
actually.
one sheet.
It's all on his head.
Liner. It's all on his head.
These are probably ad reads. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it didn't end there, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. You would think they'd just be like, yeah, I took a photo once where I looked awkward and I'm not going to put it on social media. Be like, well, all right, let's stretch this one out. We got to explore this story. And so he goes on his phone, finds the photo, and shows everyone. And then they get a big hoot out of this one.
Here's me. Here's my gay photo.
You got it? Finally, you didn't find your Mary Lou Retton shirt, but you
That's
found
as
that
fast
one.
as you get to
Oh,
it.
you are sassy.
Sassy
Oh,
Chuck.
that's right. You know what it is, Chuck? You have it more lower down.
Oh, sassy.
Yeah,
Right? So
and I
it's
think
not on your hip.
I'm in
It's like
sandals,
in your
and the whole
shorts.
thing's awful.
They did it so fast, so we couldn't get
I
a
know,
good
I
look.
saw though. I saw that sass.
Old sassy shorts.
Well, that's mining for gold, isn't it?
Old sassy shorts.
Theater of the mind, too. I'm trying to picture how sassy he looks as they keep saying the word sassy over and over again. No one has a synonym for it, apparently.
But it'd be nice to see the picture.
Thanks, Brandon. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. All I had to do was ask.
That's good. That's a good one, Carl.
Did anybody else get dizzy with all that switching of the camera, too, by the way?
Yeah. They must have the auto.
Automated, yeah. Yep. To whoever's
All right.
talking. Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. Now that they've seen the photo, this is going to continue on for more hilarity. Dave is in full-on sales mode as Chuck continues to tell the story of this photo.
I also was a little bit too far away from the railing that was behind Stella that I had my arm on, which led to a more of a twist than I would have. More like this. This is one thing.
Yeah.
That's something else, like this.
Masculine.
It's fine.
Masculine. Absolutely. This not so masculine. That is one little turn can totally change the perception of someone.
It really is. So this family, we were in line, there was this other family trying to get this beautiful shot of what looked like a beautiful background,
Yeah.
but then that is not good. That's quite a gay fella. But I know they were like, oh wow, that is so cute. That gay guy is taking his daughter around. However that happened.
However that happened.
Wow. I mean,
I'm exhausted from his laughing. That's exhausting.
But without all that great support and team play, he would be straining to do some explaining.
Yeah, then you move on because it's not interesting.
That'd be rough. And I've noticed it with Opie, too, because Opie will put out his greatest hits on his YouTube channel. You've seen that, Drew.
Yeah.
Where it's all stuff from his radio days that no one listened to because he was on afternoons at Sirius and Anthony and Jim had moved on.
Yeah, wait, Carl, he calls that his last and best year in radio, and there's no Anthony or Jim. How is that possible?
Right. So he tries to pretend that the crew that he assembled after those guys was better.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And every clip that's on that, because I listened to it, because I make fun of it, every clip that's on that is everyone just losing their minds laughing in the room. And it's like a lot of these radio guys think that if people are laughing, then it's funny.
Right.
It's not the case
but it's
at all.
not.
It's actually
Yes.
embarrassing.
It's infectious. It's so infectious. It doesn't matter
Right.
what they're laughing about. They're laughing.
But only if it's genuine.
Well, hold on, guys. Good news. It's not over yet.
Excellent.
What?
we have one more clip about how funny this is.
It's okay.
Wait, do they revisit it an hour later?
No, this is still in the same segment.
And it was 1,000 degrees. And so I think I was just sort of
my
so
God.
sticky.
Yeah,
I was just
They're out
God,
a
I
little
was
bit.
just trying to get. Boy, did it come out bad.
Yeah, it did. Speaking of coming out, Chuck the Freak.
Yeah. I mean, if I do ever come out, that's the
That's
photo.
your picture.
That it is.
That's
it's
your
just
picture.
right here, hello,
I'm
world.
here.
Yeah, it's bad.
Get used to it.
It's bad.
Jingle in a commercial. Come on.
Boy.
Yeah, that is where the segue happened. Exactly.
That is mad capped. That is some mad capped radio right there.
I didn't come out good. Speaking of coming out, am I right, people? See, it's funny because Chuck is so masculine. He's obviously not the gay guy.
He's comfortable enough to express that and to share
Right.
that. That was cool.
So I wanted to know, how do they explore more adult topics And one of the things about this show is how soft it is and how it's for all ages. There's no edge to it. We talked about when they did the live show and they just started dropping F-bombs and they're like, whoa, look how edgy we are live. We can drop F-bombs, or their podcast that they did.
Do they actually call it an all ages show now?
I don't know. I just assume that that's what they're going for.
Oh, okay.
It's based on like what they talk about and how they talk about it. It's all just fluff.
Maybe because they're syndicated now. Yeah. Because they used
Yeah.
to say tits and
Yeah.
cock.
I know
Well-
you're very jealous of them.
Yeah.
They talk about Stefon Diggs and Cardi B.
Oh,
so I thought like, oh, well, this is interesting. I mean, we got Cardi B's controversial figure. She's got that wet ass, you know what?
Yeah.
Stefon Diggs apparently caught doing pink cocaine or something on a boat.
Yep.
So they start talking about that. My clip number 7. This is brilliant banter as they talk about dating Cardi B.
Oh, his romance with rapper Cardi B just became Instagram official yesterday. He was filmed aboard a boat with her. That must be the same boat
Yeah.
he was on that day.
Wildlife.
Yes.
It is a wildlife.
Here with
It
Cardi
is.
B,
I mean,
it's
that
a
is
wild
wild. I
life.
can't even imagine her as your actual woman.
Lover.
You know?
Paramore. No.
Brilliant stuff, guys. Could you imagine dating that girl? No. Yeah, me neither.
The best part was Lisa going,
No one knows what to say.
Would anyone find that giant red blob on her leg attractive? I mean, look at the size of that.
No.
No.
It's not helping something that's already not great.
No, this must be moments after he's handing the pink cocaine to the 3 girls who are calling him daddy.
You think so? Is he wearing the same thing?
Well, he's on the boat. I assume that was the same day.
Yeah, there was a video the same day of Cardi B and him together, and then a separate video where he's on the other side of the boat with those other chicks.
And that's weird because you're going, what do you call me? And they're like, daddy.
Daddy.
He's part of that lifestyle, man, that rap lifestyle.
Oh, Carl, did you happen to hear DJ Academics talking about Stefon Diggs?
No, but I'm happy that he's no longer in Buffalo. I'm glad that he's a Patriot. But what did he say?
It's just about him laying pipe with all these rappers' wives and girlfriends.
Yeah, you were talking about that. I did hear about that. That's dangerous.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That's
he nuts?
very dangerous. I would not do that if I were him.
And he's missing practice, and he's handing people pink cocaine on camera. I mean, I guess.
Well, okay, so they have to address the drugs, right? So thankfully,
I would think.
They're going to talk about there was pink and also purple powder that can be seen in the video. And so Chuck turns this into hilarity, of course, as he does.
Oh, boy.
No.
And to be, fair, the video didn't show him doing anything with it. He actually handed it to somebody else.
Right.
And you can't tell what it is. You'd have to prove that.
Yeah.
There's really not much you could do.
Because that's what I'd be like, oh, no, that is strawberry Kool-Aid and grape Kool-Aid. And I was
just making me some
I was
drinks.
like, baby, go make me some Kool-Aid. Which it could be if I was on a boat.
Oh, if
Like,
it
it's
was, you on a boat, Chuck? That would be Kool-Aid
Listen,
powder.
I'd have
100% Kool-Aid powder.
I'd pull it up. It would look like a kilo. They'd be like, oh, my God, it's a kilo of pink cocaine.
Make
I'm like,
daddy an icy
it
beverage.
isn't. That is delicious pink lemonade.
You came into money, you'd have a boat with all the Kool-Aid money could buy.
Ladies, make some ice cold Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Be more funny. Stop yelling.
It actually sounds like the Family Guy making fun of morning shows. Everyone's screaming and no one knows why they're doing it or what's happening.
Or Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Crazy Iron the douche.
Crazy.
So, I don't know if you guys get the joke, but like Chuck's a square. So he wouldn't be doing drugs.
Yeah.
He'd be drinking Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
because like that's what kids do. But
That's the one thing we heard about him, is that they're both straight edge.
Yeah.
Like no drinking, no drugs,
Yeah.
nothing.
Both of them, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all right, well,
Fun.
my last clip, number 9. We're gonna keep leaning into how lame it would be to hang out with Chuck on a boat.
I love it.
The lamest boat of all time.
Kool-Aid boat. Big Kool-Aid picture on the side.
Oh my God! Miniature figurines and metal detectors.
It'll just be
and
us dudes. It'll be just a couple dudes
The
out there.
SS Lamo is floating into town.
Drop the anchor. We're going to go metal detect this sandbar. Yeah, it'd be totally.
I'll be your first mate.
Exactly.
Do I want to listen to a radio show with one of the hosts who's this lame, allegedly, according to his co-hosts?
No.
I mean, how boring would it be if you were there? Oh my gosh, it'd be the most boring thing ever. I know, right? Why am I listening to these guys if they're that boring?
It weighs on me occasionally that I was replaced by these guys.
I know, especially when you see the same studio we used to work in, which I hate how clean it is.
I know, it's exactly what I thought, Mark. It's like, where are the burns on the carpet? Where's the porn on the walls? What's going on?
There's like no character to that building.
No, they completely aerated and redid that studio after we left, and it was pretty new when we got there, but we was kind of a mess.
Why aren't there 25 random jerseys on the wall somewhere? I mean, it's crazy.
It happens.
But I mean, I guess if it was messy, you wouldn't be able to have all the great product placement for 5 Hour Energy like they do. It looks like they're working out of a 7-Eleven, a convenience store. Did you notice that?
That display case is literally what you would see in a convenience store.
Well, there's one right to Chuck's right. It's, the display of 5 Hour Energy, and there's 3 sitting out there.
Wait, you think that's what it really is?
Oh, 100%, because look at the
That one
display
right
case
there, yeah.
behind.
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow. I mean, I guess
Embarrassing.
sales is really sort of infiltrated every second of the morning show now. They can't stop doing the weather every 20 minutes because it's sponsored, even though it's not good information.
That's why I stopped listening to Mike and Mike on ESPN back in the day. I mean, everything was ads on that. Everything was sponsored. If they picked up a phone call, there was 3 sponsors for that. And I already just listened to 20 minutes of ads before you came back from the break.
Yeah, and the studio's sponsored. And, of course, then when that advertiser leaves, there's another studio sponsor. We think a studio sponsor would be pretty sacred, but not really.
Apparently not. Well, I'm very excited. This is Brandon sent me this today, and I appreciate that because I know you guys on the most recent episode, we're talking about Jenn Sterger.
Yeah.
She hosts a show called Not Today with Eddie Pence and Jenn Sterger. And, of course, Jenn is the Favre girl.
Yep.
Favre sent Jenn some dick pics, or one dick pic, I think.
One.
And some
No, there were 2.
text
There were 2.
messages and a voicemail.
There were 2 because the one he was wearing the Crocs.
Yep, one with Crocs and
The
one
other
where
was
he
lying
bends
down
it.
with the bent. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 dick pics 18 years ago.
They never met.
Yeah, they never met. He never touched her. He never forced her to do anything. And it's not that he wasn't wrong to do that. He was married, and it's a rude thing to do anyway. But people do it all the fucking time.
Have you ever
seen Brett Favre?
Have you ever seen someone more affected by it though
No.
than her? I haven't either.
No, I mean, you would think that she experienced something far worse than dick pics based on the way she describes it. I mean, it ruined her life. She said it ruined her life at times.
She
said
lost that TV show because of it, so she claims, which happened 25 days after the story broke, the second story.
If she would add ratings, that would have gonna continue.
Well, how do you think she got the show to begin with?
Well, she always, I don't know, this is the way I take Jenn Sterger. She always leads with victimhood, but she never talks or acknowledges all the advantages that, for example, the fact that she's really hot, and Brent Musburger pointed her out on national television. That sort of started her career and kept her career going. She was in Playboy, Maxim. I mean, that might have hurt her career too, I would think, possibly, a little bit.
Well, what's exciting about this podcast is that the Netflix, the Fall of Favre, the documentary is coming out, and they recorded this before it came out, but it aired after it had come out. So this is a big topic of conversation on the show. And Eddie, who's the co-host, asked Jenn, "Are you prepared for this? Because this is going to drop. Are you ready?"
Like, look, by the time this airs, I will have had a very interesting week.
Are you prepared for the week? Do you think you know what's coming?
Oh, so he cares.
That's a really good question, though.
He really cares, though.
But don't you think that's a good question? As to, because I think he knows. I think he knows all hell's going to break loose, but she's kind of an idiot, so she might not.
Well, when one of them says that you're safe here,
Well,
I was just like, oh my God, I wonder.
That's gayer than Chuck's picture.
I mean, they act like she's really been victimized in this horrible way. She's been assaulted or something recently.
Well,
this is 18 years
they
ago.
act like Brett Favre's going to be in her bedroom when she gets home that night.
I don't think you can ever. I think the biggest mistake is thinking you're prepared.
Because you've sort of, I'm not saying you've been through this before, but you've been through the ringer before with this shit, with this same topic.
So what's the big deal?
Yes and no, because it's interesting. So for those of you that aren't aware, last summer, I participated in a Netflix documentary. I shot it last summer, and then we shot like some pickups in December. And it's about my time when I worked at the Jets, and then subsequently like the whole media scandal that happened after it 2 years later. And it's interesting because every time I revisit this, it feels different. And every time it comes up, it's usually there's a different political climate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Huh?
I think there's always going to be pushback when look, when I shot this, I really thought we'd be in a different place as a society.
What?
We're talking about 2 dick pics in 2007.
Does she mean
18 years ago?
What is she talking
She's
about?
talking about like she wanted Joe Biden to be president or something.
Yes, that's exactly what she's talking about. So she alludes to the idea that because Trump is the president, she'll get backlash for being a woman who wants to tell her truth about a powerful man.
Give me a break.
She's already told her truth. It's nothing. I mean, how many chicks have gotten dick pics from athletes? I'm not saying it isn't wrong, but my God, what do you want? How do we end this? Can we start a GoFundMe and shut you up?
True. If Kamala Harris was president, we'd all be applauding her and putting her up on a pedestal.
Yeah, right.
But because Trump is the president, we're all going, shut the fuck up already. 18 years ago. It's all because of Trump.
Well, we've been through it in 2010. It went on and on and on and on in 2010. She's talked about it over and over.
Is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard? She's just like, well, the political climate is going to make this really tough for me this week. So she's going to take some precautions. My clip number 11, she explains what she's going to do because of this week coming up.
So going into this week, obviously, like, I'm definitely going to, take some social media breaks and or have somebody else monitor it for me just because it can be a lot.
I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine.
I can't even imagine. I mean, good on Eddie. He's got her back the whole time on this
Do
show.
they have to be such complete simps about it?
It's ridiculous. I understand that this was unsolicited. She was asked if Brett could have her number. She said no. She didn't want to have Brett's number. But holy shit, get over it.
Well, not only that, she doesn't have to participate in the documentary.
No.
Well,
she doesn't have to keep telling the story.
She also could have not given the dick pics or told Deadspin about the dick pics in 2010. Then nobody would know.
Yeah, well, remember, she wanted them to publish them, but keep her out of it. In other words, to embarrass him, but keep her free.
It's funny you say that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him.
Drop off.
There he is. Well, there you are. You're good.
You're back.
Okay. It's funny you say that because she actually rewatched the documentary for the first time since a year ago when she saw it. And she's going to talk about that, but she's also going to tell you that she's kind of changed the way she feels about this whole thing.
Because like I rewatched the documentary 2 nights ago with somebody because I wanted someone else to sit there with me and kind of give me a second set of eyeballs on it. You know what I mean?
Netflix and
Because
chill.
the first time I watched it with Netflix, they came to my house and watched it with me.
How was that?
I dissociated.
Right.
Oh, God.
I checked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But watching it back this time, I had this weird epiphany where I was like, I actually feel sorry for Brett Favre.
Wow.
Right. You dragged his name through the mud over a dick pic. Ruining the guy's reputation over something that happened 18 years ago.
Is that why she feels sorry for him? Because she overreacted?
Of course not.
No, of course not.
She goes on to say, she goes, me feeling sorry for him is like me being on a whole new level of healing.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
All about her.
How long does it take
Slow
to
down.
heal from 2 dick pics? And this is someone who's in Playboy and Maxim who really loves attention.
She'll never get over it, Drew. But
I guess not.
I mean, are
She
we
talks
are we to believe, by the way, that nobody, like just a regular Joe Blow or a friend, has never sent her another dick pic? Are these the only 2 dick pics she's ever gotten from
That's
Brett
a
Favre?
great question. Has she ever received another dick pic? And does that
guarantee
person
it.
deserve to be dragged through the mud as well?
Well, they're probably not famous.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, she can't ruin their career or their reputation because no one knows who they are anyway.
I'm sure she's got a picture of Musburger's balls somewhere, like 2 inches from the ground.
Do you think he sends out balls pics instead of dick pics?
Yeah, it's his key.
You get to a
It's
certain age, that's what you do.
It's his hook, okay? Sing it down to 9.
Is this really why she's not working in sports, by the way?
No, it's because she's terrible.
No, that question comes up.
Oh.
We are going to get into why she doesn't work in sports anymore. It's a very interesting response that she has.
Oh, hopefully Carl...
Was it Favre's fault?
No, hopefully Carl can include Jamel Hill in that part of the show.
Oh, yeah. Jamel Hill does
thank
play
God.
into that part.
No,
for
she's
sure.
got great perspective.
Yep. But my next clip here, she understands people better than most of us do.
Like, because I understand people, I almost like give them a pass to hurt me.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm trying to reconcile myself, because that's the thing that I think people don't realize is I have taken dramatic accountability for this.
Yeah.
You know, because I've had to.
What?
Wait, she gives people a pass to hurt her. So that's really weird, because here she is, really a beautiful, one of the probably top 1% of people in terms of beauty for a female her age then and now. And yet people are always trying to hurt her. Usually people tend to simp out on hot chicks like that.
Well, remember, this is the same girl in the documentary who said that she was, didn't fit in anywhere growing up, being hot. I just didn't fit in with my huge tits and my banging
nobody
body.
will pay attention. That's weird.
She's taken dramatic accountability. You guys follow this better than I do. What accountability has she taken?
Zero. No, she's the biggest victim. It ruined her life.
There isn't an instance where she says, well, maybe I shouldn't have done this or maybe I shouldn't have done that. What is she talking about?
I don't think there's any accountability to take anyway. She just got a couple dick pics. It's not that big a deal.
There was one time she took accountability. I'm doing air quotes there. It's when she realized she overshared with AJ Delario at Deadspin.
Oh, well,
which she claims was, I guess on accident, which I don't really know if it was.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't either.
So she just wasn't media savvy enough, and that's her accountability?
Sure. Yeah, even though she worked in the media.
And she loves attention. I mean, this brings her back in the public eye. I have to believe she's enjoying this a lot.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, Drew, it turns out that she's a perfect person, as we'll find out by clip 14.
People don't like having a squeaky clean person in the room if they themselves are not squeaky clean. Because the squeaky clean one is going to be like, the fuck's going on here, guys?
Guys, this isn't right.
Guys, this isn't right. There's some bad things happening. Did you guys know there's some bad things happening here? Let me show you.
It's like, oh, we all know.
So when people are like, that's why she'll never work in sport, I think the hardest part of the documentary is, because I teared up both times I got to this part of it.
Wait, I thought you disassociated.
Is they interview Jamel Hill. And she says at one point, Jen's career is over. And that was a really hard thing to hear.
Yeah. What?
Sad.
She was talking about 15 years ago, wasn't she?
Yes.
She's still crying about it for some reason.
Oh, my God. She's worked in sports, by the way, for a good bulk of that time.
Also, wasn't she just like the hype girl for the Jets? That was her job?
Yeah, she had that one show, I guess, that was on. She had the SI show, and then she had another show that was on, the Versus channel. Remember the Versus channel?
Yeah.
They had hockey for a while.
Right.
But the job that she had was like, she'd be on the Jumbotron going, hey, I'm sitting here in section 218 and we're going to give you an upgrade, right? Like that was what her job was.
Or she shot the T-shirt cannon.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Nothing.
I don't think that's
Jamel
losing
Hill,
a lot.
Oh, man. She cries every time. She even cried again thinking about it again.
Yeah.
That's what,
I hope she's crying because she's like, how does Jamel Hill have this much money failing and I don't?
well, it's interesting. We're going to get more into that. Let's talk about her biggest takeaway from the documentary.
My biggest takeaway, from everything was just
How much Musburger thought you were hot?
watching Jamel come to my defense, because she's been consistent this whole time. Jamel Hill's been consistent this whole time.
Wow.
And she's going through her shit, too.
Yeah, of course. As a black woman working in sports, of course.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. No, terrible.
But she's been
Never gets a
consistent
good
this whole
job.
time. Like when you look back at all the articles and stuff and all the coverage that she had back then, she has not wavered in what her perspective in this whole thing was.
What?
Yeah, because people talk about
And
this
other
all the
women
time.
that were younger and less experienced and insecure used what happened to me as an opportunity to step on my neck and get ahead.
Oh, well, that's
Because if they
media.
eliminate you, there's a space open. They're in their minds, there's a space open for them.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Name names. What are you talking about?
Except stepping on her neck when she was way back here didn't really get you very far. That's weird that so many people would want to step on her neck.
So a few things about that I really enjoyed. The fact that she thinks getting a dick pic is the same as being a black woman working in sports.
It's a little condescending.
It's very condescending, but also I believe racism totally exists for sure.
But in that world of the media,
when it comes to sports or music or entertainment, not so much.
No.
Jamel Hill's good at their job. We don't care who's breaking down the game footage for us.
Yeah, not at all.
Jamel Hill, by the way, has had a lot of great jobs. She's failed at most of them and been paid a lot of money. So, and she keeps getting more opportunities. For some reason, I don't know. I don't get it. It's crazy.
But isn't that interesting that she says, Jamel Hill said that my career is over because I speak the truth and no one wants the truth. They go on a whole thing about how the media is propaganda and nothing is real. But what I love is my last clip here, the producer pops up at the end with a follow-up question that she has a really hard time answering.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So when the topic comes up that you don't have a future in sports, maybe I'm hearing this wrong. What is that? Why is that?
It's a great question.
Like if you wanted to reinsert yourself in the sport arena.
Because they're scared of me, and because we have to recognize that there are powers that keep me from getting a job.
Who? Then name them.
She makes it sound like we're all thinking about her all the time. Jamel Hill's been consistent all the way through. Like we all kind of check in on the dick pic scandal every 2 months.
Who is still in power that would keep her out of a job for Brett Favre?
Maybe it's Brett himself.
Well, he's a pariah. That's insane.
Almost retired. Nobody's afraid of her. She has no power.
No, she's not good at it.
I love that the guy goes, so why do you think you don't have a future in sports if you wanted to get back into that arena? And she goes, they're scared of me. That must be it. I'm too scary for them to deal with.
Maybe the answer would be because now you're competing with younger, hotter chicks who are just as good and better.
I like this cool move by the other host who, watch how quick he looked. He checks at his watch because it's just going on forever. See him?
It's smooth. Good catch.
He snuck it in there, didn't he?
Yeah, because he's like, God, she's boring me to death.
Oh, boy.
So that was
she's
Jenn
terrible.
Sterger. Hopefully she's doing better this week.
I can't wait to keep her out of sports media forever.
Exactly.
You guys with me?
Yeah, we're the powers that be.
I'm going to check in with something inconsistent next time I check in on this, just to fuck with her.
The other big news I wanted to talk to you guys about is The Fighter and the Kid. Of course, Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub have been doing a podcast for a long time. They've been propped up by Joe Rogan, and we've been seeing a steady decline in their show and viewership. I know you've talked about this a lot, Drew, that you're surprised they're still going when, you go from hundreds of thousands of views for every episode, and now they're going down to 30,000, 40,000 views. It's tough.
All the comments are ragging on them.
Yeah, their entire subreddit is just clowning them, and there's like 140,000 people at their subreddit. Oh.
Yeah, there's probably more shitty comments about their show than there are views.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
well,
if you count Reddit,
they just made a big move because they kind of lost contact with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was at the Comedy Store. They were seeing him all the time. He was hanging out, and Joe moves to Austin and starts the Mothership, his new comedy club. And all of a sudden, people don't care about Brian Callen and his stand-up career anymore. And they're not getting to be guests with Joe Rogan and then talk to him about their podcast and stuff. So they're going, maybe we should move to Austin.
Did Callen's being Me Too'd have something to do with 4 women accused him of some sort of, mistreatment?
Well, remember, Fighter and the Kid went on after that. Yeah. And Brendan Schaub got 2 new co-hosts. And then things calmed down and they brought Brian Callen back. And that was still a popular show at that time.
But also, Brendan became this giant internet joke and lolcow. His comedy career is a disaster. His special is the lowest rated in the history of comedy specials. I mean, Joe, you could certainly understand him backing off of Schaub and Callen, too, really, because of what happened to him. So I'm surprised that anyone is back in his good graces, to be honest.
I'm glad you brought that up about Brendan Schaub, because when he decided to quit comedy, it wasn't because no one was buying tickets and he sucks at it and he was a laughingstock. He goes, I just need to spend more time with my family.
Get thrown out of more baseball games.
Exactly. I need to yell at the ump for not getting the call right at the home plate. No, he said, like, I need to spend more time with my family, and that's what's important to me. And that's commendable, of course, to do family over career. But then Brian Callen goes, I'm moving to Austin. I got to be near the comedy scene. That's where the comedy scene moved to. I'm moving to Austin.
Yeah, I'm yanking my kid out of 4th grade. I'm moving my wife away from all her friends.
Well, what's crazy is this was 3 months ago. Brian tells him, I'm moving to Austin, thinking that, like, yeah, this show's over. We've been dwindling for a while. I'll go do my thing. You do your thing. And Brendan Schaub's response was, I'm coming too. So this just happened where Brendan Schaub moved his entire family from LA to Austin, Texas, to continue to do The Fighter and the Kid. This is a show with 542,000 subscribers. This most recent episode that's called Texas is Nuts has 27,520 views.
Woo! He got a tattoo. He got a tattoo of the state of Texas too.
Yes.
Yes.
To go along with Boston Red Sox tattoo. So think about this. They have these 2 hosts, their families. They have 2 producers, their families, all uprooted, moving to Austin, Texas to keep The Fighter and the Kid going.
How do 4 people live off 150,000 views a month?
That's what I wanted. They do a lot of ad reads because they're not going to make that money just being monetized on YouTube, obviously.
Are they hoping the proximity to Rogan helps boost their numbers again? That's got to be the only. It's like a calculation, but that's not a guarantee.
I think Callen's got work at the mothership for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So Brian's working at the mothership all the time. He's there often. So now he's rubbing elbows with all the other comics again. He's getting back into shape. So that was his plan all along. I don't know that he cares about doing The Fighter and the Kid.
Oh, and
honestly,
Brian,
I think he's checked out.
Brian also says he's writing every day now.
Right. Yeah. He's reinvigorated. I love hearing Blind Mike talks about this a lot. We don't talk about it as much on WATP, but Brian Callen's a 58-year-old man. He's had the sitcom deal. He's been in movies and bit parts and things like that. He was on Mad TV going way back. He thinks he's still like on the cusp of making it.
Yeah.
It's really odd. It's like, yeah, man, I don't know that you're going to move to Austin and all of a sudden you're going to be Dave Chappelle. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, he never got this high. He's 58, but he acts like he's in the zeitgeist. Like he's just part of the, he's part of the Rogan. Well, the Rogan thing is in the zeitgeist, but he's so marginal there. But now that he's back working at the mothership, it's like, I'm right back there. Who knows? I could get a leading man role any day now.
Yeah. And so they're back. They're in Texas now, and they're trying to adjust to living in Texas as opposed to LA. And I just found this interesting. I've been in Texas twice this year. I know. Whoa! Holy cow!
Spread out.
Twice this year. I've been to LA. I can, I don't know as much as those guys know, but I've seen the difference. Thank you. And how people exist and how they communicate. My clip 17. Brian is so used to talking to miserable people, he can't even figure out what people are saying in Texas.
We was doing. He goes. Ask me how I'm doing. Watch. How you doing, man? Any better? And I couldn't take it. And I was like, oh, hey, you got to calm down, brother. We got to calm down. Any better? And I couldn't take it. I'm like, damn, man.
I always think something's up.
Well, there is something up. You're about to, you're feeling very, you're a little dicey with yourself here, but.
Or that's just how they are.
How soon did Brendan get a University of Texas hat, by the way?
I know. He's all in.
Jesus.
The pandering is amazing. But do you like that? Where he just goes, yeah, I was talking to this guy and he said he's doing really great and he loves his life. And this came after a conversation where Brendan met his neighbor and his neighbor, was just like, hey, today's going to be an awesome day, man. Good to see you. And he's just like, what is going on? All this positivity. People are enjoying their lives. This must be fake. Like, well, no, it's just way better than LA.
Everybody in Texas is doing great. Is that real?
Well, I think there's a lot of happy people who live in these areas because they're not dealing with traffic and the grind and Hollywood and all the bullshit you deal with in show business being in LA. So then they start talking about all the animals to be afraid of. because there was a snake that ended up in Brian's pool, and there's tarantulas they're dealing with.
Easy way to mention your pool. Easy way to mention your pool, I guess.
Yep, for sure. And I think that Brian's surprised that Brendan actually knew something, because Brendan brought up a fact about snakes, and Brian's like, "Whoa, how do you know that?" And here's the answer.
I didn't know you were a snake guy. What's somebody who studies reptiles?
Herpetologist.
Herpetologist. Like herpes.
Yep.
Herpetologist?
Herpetologist. Heavy on the herp.
Yeah.
Heavy on the herp. Heavy on the herp.
Which I wanted to be when I was a kid.
Why did you say it 3 times? Is he trying to make one appear?
I'm glad you picked up on that, because there's some idiosyncrasies with Brendan Schaub that fascinate me. When he goes heavy on the herp, I think he's exploring a joke in his brain.
Yeah.
Heavy on the herp. Heavy on the herp. Heavy on the herp. He's just saying it out loud instead of like formulating it in his brain and then coming out with the joke.
It's so weird.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, the joke never quite formulated.
Nope.
Oh, too bad.
Never got back to it.
Sorry to hear that.
Herpetologist. Heavy on the herp.
Yeah.
Heavy on the herp. Heavy on the herp.
Which I wanted to be when I was a kid.
You see him kind of look around too, so it does look like he's really digging and thinking there.
Boy, it's weird.
Trying to come up with something. And here's another example of, I don't know if he's not listening or if he's not processing or if he thinks this is how you have a conversation with someone else. Because in my next clip, Brian's going to talk about surprising his dad on his 85th birthday. And Brendan asked the same question multiple times.
By the way, my dad turned 85. I surprised him.
What'd you do?
Went to New York. We all surprised him.
Jump out of the closet, give him a heart attack?
He just didn't expect me to be there. And he was like, "You came here for my birthday?"
You went to New York?
I was like, "You're 85, dude." "Yeah, I came here for your birthday."
You went all the way to New York?
Yes.
Wow.
I was like, "It's your 85th birthday, man."
Should have jumped out with surprise.
I know. Made a speech.
Oh my God. Is he retarded?
Yeah, that's what I wonder. It's like, you went to New York? Oh, so you went to New York. Oh, you went all the way to New York.
I think he might be a little slow.
And
oh my God, that was
Brian,
weird.
I think, is so over it because he reads all this stuff about his co-host and what an idiot he is. And Brian tries to be a good friend, but he's just like, "Yeah, man, I should have yelled surprise." Anyway, so I made a speech and I hung up my dad. What are we doing?
Did you go to New York?
But did he go to New York?
But is Schaub not listening, or is he just dumb?
Can we play that again? Can we play that again, please?
Yeah. I got to pull it back up though.
That was
It's also
weird.
not a hard place to fly to, New York. All the way to New York. It's like, yeah, it's awesome in New York. It's not that big a deal.
By the way, my dad turned 85. I surprised him.
What'd you do?
Went to New York. We all surprised
Jump
him.
out of the closet, give him a heart attack?
He just didn't expect me to be there. And he was like, "You came here for my birthday?"
You went to New York?
I was like, "You're 85, dude." "Yeah, I came here for your birthday."
You went all the way to New York?
Yes.
Wow.
I was like, "It's your 85th birthday, man."
Should have jumped out with surprise.
I know. Made a speech.
The first time he says you went all the way to New York, it like just hit him. Like, that's so far. Look at his eyes.
What'd you do?
Went to New York. We all surprised
Jump out of
him.
the closet, give him a heart attack?
He just didn't expect me to be there. And he was like, "You came here for my birthday?"
You went to New York?
How surprised he is right there.
What? You know what it might be? It might be that he thinks they're really good friends, and he didn't know that Brian went to New York. He's just like, "Dude, you didn't even like text me or call me and tell me you're going to New York?"
Well, for his
Yeah,
dad's birthday.
that hit him after he said we went to New York. So the part that he went to New York kind of fell out of his brain.
It's like 5 seconds later. Yeah.
Heavy on the herp.
Well, okay, so I'm picking up on his conversation style. Brendan just repeats himself over and over again. My next clip here, they're talking about kids playing lacrosse in Texas. And he says the same phrase, I think 4 times in this clip.
I didn't realize how big lacrosse is in Texas. All the kids play it.
I guess, yeah.
All the kids play it. In California, it's kind of big.
Yeah.
East Coast, obviously, it's always
Pretty
big.
cool.
But here, I see all kids with lacrosse.
You were a lacrosse player.
Love lacrosse. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I didn't realize how big it is in
You
Texas.
played in college?
Yep. All the kids play.
Uh-oh.
The lights went out? What the hell's going on?
So he's sitting there going, all the kids play it. All the kids play it. Brian goes, I guess, I don't know. He goes, oh, all the kids play it. All the kids play it.
Carl, is that the new studio in Austin?
That's the brand new studio. It is a vast garage, and you can hear the echo.
yeah.
They even talk about they gotta get some sound dampening in there. Like it's not
yeah.
a good studio for them.
You should probably get the sound dampening before you do your first show.
Well, get the lights figured out too. So the lights go out, and this is their producer Chin's fault. And Chin, so he's had to move to Austin. He still doesn't have a place to live yet.
I cannot believe 2 producers moved to Texas with them.
For a show that gets 30,000 views an episode?
What could the producers possibly be paid?
It's a great question. All of this doesn't make sense to me from a business standpoint.
Does Schaub's old man just pay salaries and they don't care if they lose money? Because I've heard that, but I don't know anything about that.
What do you mean, Schaub's father?
People suggest that Schaub's dad is just loaded.
Oh,
and he's
I didn't know
financing
about
Thick
that.
Boy. I don't know either. I'm just asking because it doesn't make sense.
Well, we know that Schaub has lost over $1 million in business deals in the past.
What did he lose on? Just because the numbers weren't there, or
no? Remember that advertising deal? I forget the name of the company, but he's one of the guys who made the deal with that guy who promised all this advertising revenue.
Right, and then
paid him at first, and then just like got way behind on payments, and then eventually just went, "Yeah, I don't have it."
Yeah, and he owed Fighter and the Kid more money by far than anyone else.
Well, Brendan specifically, because I think Brendan worked with him on all his podcasts, but I know he screwed over Bobby Lee and a lot of the big names.
Theo Von,
yep. That was another guy who talked about it. So, yeah, so this guy Chin, their producer, moves all the way there. He's got no place to live. This is what they're talking about in my next clip here.
But I'll tell you, poor Chin, he can't find a place to live in Austin because there's nowhere
There's nowhere to live.
There's nowhere to live.
There's nowhere to live.
He only had 3 months to figure it out, man.
Yeah.
What else, buddy?
I'm just enjoying, I am enjoying Texas. I'm enjoying the mothership.
Could it be the Chin has no money?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? They're right there. They just go. They're calling him out. Like, oh, you can't find a place to live. There's tons of places to live around here. Okay, whatever, man. So what have you been doing? Oh, I've been at the mothership. That's why I brought all of you out here with me.
I just have a funny feeling that Chin can only afford certain places. That's my guess.
Well, these
guys have both bought like huge mansions with pools. I've seen the photos of the backyards and stuff, and they have friends who are flying helicopters. Like they talk for a while about this new buddy they have, who's going to the White House later this month. He's got all these connections. He flies a helicopter. He's got all these cool toys and stuff like that. It's like they're living the life. They bring out these two guys who are making $65,000 a year, whatever it is. They're like, figure it out.
No, it's really rude. I would think most people watching would know what's going on, even though they didn't.
I love these next two clips I'm going to play for you because I don't know if this is what the show is. I've never been a big fan of it, but they don't have conversations. They just kind of talk at each other.
All right. So let's see,
22.
My son is only interested in trucks and things that go fast. So whether it's a helicopter, whether it's a motorcycle, Tim put my son on his electric motorcycle.
He loved it.
And my son kept saying, faster, faster.
Loved it.
Like, it was crazy. He wants a dirt bike. He already at 3 years old.
Give him a dirt bike.
He can't stop talking about jet skis.
Oh, yeah, he said that.
It's crazy. So,
you're going to see those stupid bats tonight.
What?
Get him a dirt bike. He's 3.
Brian is trying to start a conversation with me. He goes, my son's a bit of a gearhead, just like you are.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's into trucks, he's into dirt bike, whatever it is.
Get him a dirt bike.
And he just goes, that's cool. Yeah, get him one. I got to go see bats tonight. The hell? Clip 23 is another example of this little shorter one.
We went to the University of Texas baseball game yesterday.
Really?
It's great.
Really?
Great.
Huh.
That was excellent. What an exchange. Really?
Yeah,
really?
Neither guy wants to have a conversation. They're just like, okay, you say so.
But they're really kind of working their way into the community. Can't you feel it?
Yeah. Naming everything
there's a lot
local.
of talk about what they're doing in Texas and how they're meeting people.
Got a tattoo of Texas. He went to a Texas baseball game.
Got the hat.
Got
He
the
knows,
hat.
he knows about the bats in Austin. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
After this, Drew, they get into a whole conversation about barbecue restaurants.
Oh.
And they start
Boring.
talking about what the best barbecue restaurants are and how far they are. And they're having the guys check it out on Google Maps, how long the drive would be if they wanted to do that.
Oh, boy.
And
Very relatable.
my last clip on here, they decide they're hungry. And this is a guy telling another guy how to Google stuff. And it goes on and on.
Put best barbecue in Austin. What's it say? The locals need to DM us and let us know, man. I need to find some barbecue that competes with Houston and Dallas.
Terry Black's.
Franklin. There you go.
I've heard a lot about Franklin's too.
Franklin.
Go up to the map, though. Scroll up. Oh, go to that Bee Cave barbecue for me. What's that? 4 out of 4?
Bee Cave?
4.4. You see it right there under Bee Cave barbecue?
Inside the maps or?
It's on the map. It's on the far left.
Yeah, he's pointing to it.
Family owned. I'm in. I'm in. All right.
And what's the place? Where is it?
Could you have him schedule your dentist appointment while you're at it?
That was
Yeah, right.
awesome.
They're just making dinner plans halfway through the show. They just sit down and just be like, I'm hungry, man. You want to get some food? Hey, can you look up the best barbecue place around here?
And how many? Okay, they have 40,000 people watching something like that. I mean, that's really about 40,000 a week, I think. How many of the 40,000 are in Austin and like barbecue?
Exactly, yeah.
10 at the most?
Well, remember, they went to Austin to do a live show. It was their first ever Fighter and the Kid live show. And they couldn't even book Joe Rogan's place. They had it at the comedy club down the street.
And they couldn't sell it out.
And they had like a third, if not a quarter of the room sold. And they came out with no plan. They went up there, just like, wow, this place is wild. Huh? All right, that's cool. And then they go, any questions for us? So, yeah, they don't have a huge following in Austin, obviously. And they're sitting there talking about locals and where to go after the show and stuff. It's brutal. I don't know what the plan is. Maybe Brian just wants it to tank so he can move on. But anyway, Brendan Schaub has uprooted his entire family that he cared so much about, brought them to Austin, and that's where they live now.
Is Brian, is he just too nice a guy to tell Brendan that, look, this is done? You know, this is a great time to end this thing.
I get
or
that
are they really that good of friends that he wants to sort of drag him along?
Do they seem like friends? I went to the baseball game. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I went to the game. Oh, okay.
Not really.
They don't seem like friends.
I feel like does Callan owe him anything because of the Me Too? He didn't really stick with Callan. Callan left the show, right?
That's a good point. Yes. I don't know what he thinks he owes him, or Brian's just a really loyal guy, because if I were Brian, I would have ran for the hills a while ago. This guy is toxic.
Oh, and all the comedy podcasts like Podcast Cringe, Too Lazy to Try, they're all saying the same thing. Oh, my God, he's stuck with Brendan.
And we've talked about this before, but Theo Vaughn was on a show with Brendan Schaub and went, I got to get the fuck away from this guy. And it couldn't have been a better decision. His career has done so much better since then.
Yeah, he went from 250,000 views to 1.5 million on his own.
Yeah, and Trump on the show talking about cocaine and his brother buying a boat.
Not bad. No.
It's pretty good.
Wow, that was weird. But interesting.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. No, I'm going to have to watch. It takes me a while to really sit down and go, okay, I'm going to watch this. But it's always entertaining for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was actually, when I was watching it today, I'm like, should I cover this on WATP tomorrow? Because this is fascinating, what's going on from a psychological standpoint.
Okay, so that's the last cut?
That's it.
Okay. Remember, we are at the Magic Bag, September the 12th, with Dave Landau, and tickets are available, and they usually go pretty fast. So there.
Yes, themagicbag.com. I don't have a vanity URL yet. I'll get one that you can go to. But if you go to their website and click on shows, we're listed on there, September 12th.
It's also linked in our webpage.
Yep.
Nice. Sweet. And you guys are doing a show in Boston, too, aren't you?
Yeah, June 21st, I'll be live in Boston, WATPlive.com for tickets for that. And that's with teaming up with Dick Masterson and The Dick Show and the whole WATP crew, including our buddy Adam Bush, who does the show with me every Wednesday.
Is Adam, is he a full-time Dabbleverse member now? Is this how he makes a living?
I don't think it's how he makes a living. I think he's still a working actor. But no, he's definitely full-time. We do every week, every Wednesday. Adam Bush is on the show, and you see him pop on to all the other shows too.
That's
he was
right.
on.
I saw him on so many
recently, and he's on Shuli's shows. And
well, he was doing so many different shows. I thought, oh, it seems like he's really latched into this thing. And a lot of people in comments were asking, is Adam? Is he getting paid by all these people, or what's going on? And so I'm just asking on their behalf. That was interesting.
Yeah, he is a paid member of the Who Are These Podcast family. Yes,
I see. Okay, great. Well, we'll talk to you soon, Carl. And meanwhile, tickets are available. And and one other thing, WATP will be live in this studio. It's the WATP Road Show, June 28th, correct?
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to that. We're going to go see Devo live in Detroit.
We are Devo, Devo. It's a beautiful world. I can't wait. No, totally psyched.
I'm very excited. Producer Chris and I will be in Detroit. We'll be in your studio recording an episode of Who Are These Podcasts with you guys, and also going to a Tigers game.
Yeah.
I was looking at the power rankings. Were they number 1 or 2?
Number 1, baby.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
Thank you. We have a lot to do with it, too.
I still don't
hard.
believe. Yeah.
Carps had 3 homers last night. Man, and Scooble is pitching.
Almost had a fourth. I mean, that fourth one was pretty deep.
It was a changeup. I think he just missed it.
Misjudged, yeah.
Just hearing you guys over the last 4 years talk about how they're never going to get this right. We keep making the wrong moves. They won't spend any money. Oh, the Javi Baez, that was a disaster. I was just like, oh, this poor team's never going to figure it out. Look at him now.
Is an amazing confluence of events. Javi Baez, statistically, there are very few people who have come back from what he came back from. I don't know what's going on.
He was almost a Triple Crown guy with the Cubs. The year after they won the World Series in 2017, because I was following him very closely, he almost led the league in batting average, home runs, and RBI. And to see him strike out every at-bat a few years later is just devastating.
Well, that's just so strange. He never walks. He was striking out. He was missing everything, and just figure he has no power left the last year or 2 at least anyway, and then all of a sudden he has power again, and he's hitting 300. It's really odd. I mean, some people even suggested things like steroids, which of course is against the law. We know it's not that. But yeah, I would. Who would have thunk it? I mean, I couldn't have been more wrong.
It's not steroids. I remember the 2015 playoffs when every right-handed pitcher figured out to just throw a slider away.
Yeah,
and he just swung every time. That's what was happening to him with Detroit, and it's just so frustrating. Like, holy crap! Can someone tell him to stop swinging the bat at these pitches?
Yeah, I've noticed people are starting to throw the ball out there more. Maybe they got a little lazy, but he's definitely something has changed for the better. And allegedly it's his health, his hips. I don't know. We'll see. We'll take it as long as it lasts, though. They got Parker Meadows back last night, too.
Yeah.
So Tigers are rocking, man.
That's awesome.
Anyway, okay, Carl, good luck. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, guys. See you. WTP tomorrow on YouTube, Wednesday night, 5:30. See you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
See you.